Hello everyone. Last presentation of the momentum. The crowd is thinning, but that's okay. Welcome to Rooms API for Mortgage. I'm Shilpi Sharma. I'm a software engineer. I have been working on DocuSign Rooms since last 3 years, ever since I joined. And I'm really excited to be here to talk to you guys about Rooms API. Before I start the session, I just wanted to outline what we are going to talk about so you have some background about how I'm going to go about this. So I'm going to talk about why you should care about rooms for mortgage, rooms in mortgage space. What DocuSign Rooms is, I'll just highlight some major functionalities. And then I'll get into mortgage about how you can use rooms to go through a basic mortgage workflow and how you can do that same process through our APIs. So that is how I'm going to go about this presentation. So now, why DocuSign Rooms for Mortgage? So before I dive into that, how many people over here have bought a house and applied for a mortgage? Okay, so pretty much everyone. So can a couple of you just volunteer, like how many days did it take you once you have agreed to like, okay, I'm going to buy the house. How long did it take for you to actually get that mortgage approval? He doesn't even know. Anybody? Yeah, like to the close, like getting the final approval and getting the whole process closed with mortgage, with lenders. No idea. Yeah. So as per current industry average, 30 days is average how long it takes once you have agreed to buy the house, but it can take anywhere between 30 days to 60 days to close this process. Pre-approval itself can take 7 to 11 days, and then once you do make an offer, it can take 18 to 20 days to get that approval, but this is probably the best case scenario. There are so many factors that impact this process. For example, what is the market conditions that would dictate how busy your lenders and other third-party service providers are. Underwriting process, and then lender might have like follow-up requests about additional documents. And then did you get a date for your appraisal? So while a lot of these external factors we do not have control over, what Rooms API intend to do is the parts we can control, we can make them faster. And that is how Rooms is going to help this process. So Rooms for API. With DocuSign Rooms for Mortgage, we intend to reduce the amount of time it takes to finish this process by reducing the feedback time between different parties in that transaction. That would make this process faster, save costs, and there are other advantages to it, like once you have entered the data into the system, it's there. You do not have to re-key in at different portals. Because each in lending process, you have so many different portals that you have to enter your data and you keep repeating the same information. This is targeted to make that process simpler, so you don't have to go through that manual process over and over again. Rooms for Mortgage not only enables you to streamline this process in a collaborative space, but it also provides you tools to automate it. That makes it even faster. And once you have those automations in place, it makes us less error prone, and it's way more streamlined. And finally, integrate. Rooms APIs provide you with this capability that your third parties can push and pull vital transaction data. So Room would essentially act like a hub of data where you can just push and pull vital transaction data without having to key in into each of the portals. Like for example, in real estate, we have Homes, Lone Wolf, which are integrated with our system. So in mortgage space, there might be loan origination systems and bank portals, which might use these APIs to get that data and which would streamline their systems of agreement as well. So with this, we connect these different partners and make the process a lot smoother for everyone involved. So Rooms for Mortgage essentially provide lenders with a single digital destination, creating a secure, collaborative, and compliant workspace. The solution brings efficiencies to the process by enhancing communication and compliance. So what is DocuSign Rooms? So DocuSign Rooms In DocuSign Agreement Cloud, Room provides a collaborative space where multiple parties can come together to complete a complex agreement. Bear in mind that Rooms first developed with real estate and mortgage in mind. And we might in future expand into other verticals, but for now, our product is very targeted towards these two specific industries, and it works really well in both of them. So now I will give you a demo. So this is a video, but I would rather give a live demo. So this is essentially, I would introduce some major functionalities in what Rooms is. So I am logging into a company as a company admin here. So if you have attended Rooms for real estate or Rooms for mortgage presentations, so this might be a little bit more familiar to you. But for those, if you weren't able to attend any of those, I'll just quickly go through what our major functionalities over here are. So as a company admin, I can go and edit my company information, which includes name, address, branding. Rooms allow you to define roles and configure permissions in your portal. So what you can do is whatever roles you think are there would be there in your Rooms. So like for lending, you might have a loan officer, you might have a settlement agent. So those kind of, oh, this doesn't show up there. I'm sorry, wait. Okay. So I think you missed the first portion. So this was the company admin where you can edit company permissions, set the logos, set the currencies of the company. And this is where you can create roles for your company. So in your company, you might have different roles defined, loan officer, borrowers. So over there, you can configure permissions. What these permissions means is what is it that they can do in the company? Can they create rooms? Can they add documents to the room? Can they create envelopes? Can they create packages? So those kind of permissions you can set and hook them up with the role. Then whenever you add a member to the company or you invite someone into a room, you can assign them those roles. You can add offices and regions in your company. You can define task list templates. So what these are essentially is where you can group some tasks that you need to do together as a part of a transaction. So you can add as many templates based on the standard processes in your company. You can configure room details. So this essentially controls the view you see when you create a room. So what are the fields you want to associate with your room? So over here you can define that. You can add and configure your own fields. You can change which type of field these are and assign name to those. So essentially you can imagine that for like different verticals or even for different companies, they might have different terminologies of what kind of information they want to store in the room. So this, with this you can control what that view, what those fields are. Then you can build hierarchies in your company with members. You can add members, you can provide them different access levels, that it's a company level access or region level access, or he's just a contributor. So you can build those kind of hierarchies here. Over here I have just one member ended, which is Michael Scott. He is my loan officer. So whenever somebody enters rooms, the first screen they see is dashboard. Over here, this gives you a quick overview of what you have been recently doing, like the recent transaction rooms you have viewed. If there were some new rooms added, which you can see, but maybe you are not aware of those, that somebody else added them. And if there were some new envelopes added, and you were provided access to some documents, and stuff like that. So now I will move back to the presentation. So this one is which one? Okay, wait. How would you leverage rooms in mortgage? So for this, I would introduce a very basic mortgage scenario. It's just to go through how you would go about in UI, and then I will show that process how you would go about it by executing individual API points and achieve that same thing. So my scenario has 3 people. I have a loan officer, Michael Scott. and he wants to create a loan for Pam and Jim, who have just decided to buy a home and agreed that they're gonna go ahead and do this. In this scenario, he will create a task list which has 3 parts. One is he will ask them if they intend to proceed with the loan. Next, he will ask them to upload their financial documents. Once they have done that, he will review those, approve those, and finally, he will share some disclosures with them and create a loan estimate and share a loan estimate with them. So now we will jump into the demo. So over here, I'm gonna log in as Michael Scott. Oh, that's not Michael Scott. So it took me to app demo. I can choose to switch to rooms here. So this is Michael Scott's screen. Now, in mortgage, each room essentially represents a loan. So when you go in here, essentially these are the loans he's currently actively processing right now. So this view essentially shows him all the loans he's currently a part of. Now he can go ahead and create a new loan for Jim and Pam. So let's say loan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes into default office, and he's creating that as his role as a loan officer. Now he goes and gets redirected. So when I was showing you that configurable screen of room details, this is where all those fields show up. So you can control what you want to see here and what are the details you want to set. You can go ahead and edit here and take different kind of actions. So now I will go ahead and invite Jim and Pam to the room. So I have already activated both of these users to just, I wasn't sure I will have enough time to activate them here. So I'm going to just go and invite them. So now when I showed you a borrower type of external role. So it's an external role because he's not a part of the company. But he can take certain actions, like he can sign an envelope, he can upload documents to the room he has been invited in. So this is essentially what this does, assigning Jim that role. And I am inviting him in a slimmed down view of the room. So as a borrower, this is something new we are releasing, where we have a slim view. Instead of like seeing the whole room and have like all these different kinds of tabs, it will give them a slimmer view of all the things they need to do right away and what they have access to do. So now you can go in here. I will go ahead and invite Pam as well. So when I send this invite, essentially at this point, both Jim and Pam will receive an email with their invitation to the room. So now they are both invited. So I can go to their email and open it, or I can log in as Pam in an incognito window directly. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll go here. So here I'll log in as Pam. So now she's logged in here in her slim view. So as you can see right now, she doesn't have any tasks assigned. Now if you go back here, you will go ahead and assign tasks to them by attaching a company defined template of a task list template. So over here, when I was logged in as company admin, you saw 2 task list templates. One was borrowers one, and other is mortgage task list template demo. So I will go ahead and add this because this is what I want to use right now. So as a part of this, it has 3 tasks. One is intent to proceed. Other is upload financial documents, and third is view disclosures. So as soon as I add these tasks, in task list template, both these tasks were assigned to borrowers. So as soon as I add them here, they automatically go and get assigned to Pam and Jim. So if you go to the actual Slim view, you'll see that these tasks show up in Pam's view. And you will see these same tasks show up in Jim's view as well. So as you can see, both of them sees the same screen. This is Jim's screen. So what can happen here is either of them can go ahead and complete this task. So if I go ahead and complete this task in Jim's view, this will mark as completed for Pam as well. So over here, I say please go ahead with the loan. So that will mark this task as complete, and if you go to Pam's view, she will also see the task has been completed. Now we still need to upload documents. So Jim is busy somewhere, Pam decides that she has all the documents, she'll go ahead and upload them. So she goes in here, she goes ahead and upload the financial documents and submit that. At this point, the earlier task was immediately approved because they did not require in review, but this task does require loan officer to view these documents and approve it. So now we will go back to loan officer screen and you refresh this page. So he will see that they have completed this task and this task needs review and they have uploaded. That means they have submitted it for him to view those tasks. So he will go here, view each of these documents. You cannot approve this task unless you have viewed all the documents. So you see over here we have mentioned that you have to view it before approving it. Before that, if I try to approve, it will throw an error that you have to first view the remaining documents. So at this point, I'll go ahead like all looks good and I'll approve this task. At this point, he still hasn't shared his disclosures with them. So over here, this task is loan officer's responsibility that he has to share disclosures with the borrowers. So he'll go ahead and share those documents. So I go here, I share this escrow disclosure with them. While this completes the task, he still has to go and explicitly share these documents. So he has to go in here, open this document and provide access to both Jim and Pam. So all the documents that he has viewed, they are visible over here. So at any point he wants to review them again and look at them again, he can go ahead and do that. So at this point, if you go to Jim and Pam's screen, it's going to show that a new disclosure has been shared with you. You can view that. And that is what she does. Now, final step of this transaction, he will create a loan envelope and share it with Jim and Pam. At this point, he goes, he creates an envelope, creates a single envelope. This is a loan estimate. He uploads estimate document, like after all the processes, he finally has one. And now he can add the recipient. So he adds both Pam, Jim and himself on this envelope. And he assigns himself as signing auditor because they need to sign before he can. And at this point, he adds this and next. Now it will go to the tagging screen where he would add the corresponding text as to where they need to sign. So let's say Jim is our primary signer. We add his signature over here. We go to Pam, we add her signature as the co-applicant. We can add date signed for her. Let's add that for Jim too. And then I'll randomly add his signature anywhere. He's not very particular about it. And then he goes ahead and sends this envelope. At this point, if you go to Pam's screen and Jim's screen, they both will see that they have an envelope to sign. So you go here, you see that immediately shows up here that you need to sign this. So what this does is provide borrowers this very simple to-do list where they don't have to look for go to individual tabs and see what they need to do. With the simple view, they know what they need to handle. So Pam goes in here, signs her document. Go to gem screen. And then Michael also will go ahead and sign this document. So he can finally go ahead and sign this document. Okay, start. And voila. And with this, this mortgage process has kind of ended, that he has signed his disclosure document. Now, as you can see, there were a lot of manual steps involved in it where I had to individually add the documents, attach the task list. What you can do is do this process to API. So now I'm going to demonstrate that. So I already have a bunch of requests set. So this is the workflow. These are all the different API endpoints I will execute to showcase how you can do this through API. So most of our APIs, the three main headers are authorization. So I'm doing this as Michael Scott. So I'm going to do bearer and his OAuth token, which you can generate through our API Developer Center directly now. So, and other than that, you have to just set application JSON and application JSON as the type of content and what it accepts. So this is a very simple room. All I'm providing is a name and my role ID. This role ID information you can find through our APIs. Essentially, it's all the roles defined by the company. So since Mike have access to that information, he can get that. So at this point, he'll go ahead and create the room. The moment I execute this endpoint and I go back and see his room section, you'll see that this room has been created here, which was not there before. Now I'll go ahead and invite Jim and Pam again to this room. So this is the body where I'm passing again a company role ID, name and email, and the type of invite. This is real estate specific. You can ignore this for now. So you go ahead, do this, and I invite this. The moment I do this, both of them will get an invite to that room. If you go here and you go to the people tabs of this room, you'll see both of them invited here. Sorry. Okay. So now I go back. Next step is attaching the task list. Again, it's a company level defined template, so you should be able to get that information by going into your UI or just querying through an API and see what the task list template ID is. So I go in here, this is what I'm passing. This is a simple request, just this takes only task list template ID as its input. You go ahead and send it. So when you send that, this task list get created and assigned to Pam and Jim at this point. So now if you go here, this task is added here. Now you can, Pam and Jim, you can go and you have to find out what the new room is. So that one is 9.5. So I will just go here, change the number. So as you can see, those tasks have automatically been assigned to. Now it's a waiting game until borrower does what he needs to do. So I'm going to finish both these tasks as Pam. And I upload documents again. I'll just upload two. So I submit them. Now we have an option to go ahead and approve it, but it will throw an error because he hasn't actually viewed the documents. So lender will have to go and view these documents. So we go to Michael's screen, we go to documents. So these two documents show up here, the ones that Pam has uploaded. You go ahead and view them individually and it will mark them as viewed. That means they have been reviewed. Now I can go back to the API and approve that task. So how do you, this just takes the reason of like the message you need to give when you're approving the task, and this is the task ID. Over here, when essentially after I got the response, I passed that response to get individual IDs. So one of that was the mod task, room task ID, which I'm using in the next request. So I go here and I approve that task. So now if you go to Michael's screen, both these tasks have been approved. The next step is adding disclosures. So I go back here, I'll go and add initial disclosure to the room. So to upload a document, it takes the document name and the base 64 contents of that document. So you send that and this document get added to the room. But document is only added to the room, yet it is not associated with the task. So for that, if you go back here and look at my response, I picked up two values from here, the task ID and the placeholder ID. This placeholder ID is the key to add that document to this task. So that is what I'm going to do here, assign the added document. So over here, I have the task ID passed here, I have that placeholder ID I got from there, and I got document ID from this response. So I key in all those values and I send that, and that document get linked to this task and it will be marked completed because it does not require any review. You can go back to Pam's screen, see that she has a new disclosure that she can view. Oh wait, no, I still haven't gave her the access. So these are the steps where you would share access with Jim and Pam. So this is, you just pass borrower one user IDs. These user IDs you got when you added them to the room. So you send this one, and this get added. And at that point, they would be able to view those disclosures. Next is creating the loan estimate envelope. You go ahead, add the loan estimate to the room. Once you have all the information, you create loan estimate envelope. You add that document to that envelope. So envelope is very simple. You are just passing name, subject, message. This request has order ID and the document ID which you got when you added that document to the room. So you can also order documents. So this order is just simply that. And then you can add your borrowers. So over here I'm adding Jim. So the role is borrower. This is the signing order. He's a signer. So I'll add all of them, including myself. So over here, I'm setting the role as loan officer, passing my user ID. So if you go back to Michael Scott's screen, you will see that there's an envelope created there, a draft envelope, which has that added document and the 3 recipients of that envelope. And rest of the steps are same, where he sends the document, they receive it, and they sign it. So as you can imagine, doing this through API was way faster than manually doing those individual steps. This is a very, very simple workflow, but imagine if it gets more complex, you can do a lot with this. This tool makes you really powerful. You can essentially say you have a process defined, you want to create a room. You can immediately anyways create a room with the attached task list ID. You can add borrowers later on. So you can create those kind of templates and utilize these APIs to automate your systems and make them faster. Configurable automated systems are anyways less error prone than somebody individually doing it. So say I uploaded the wrong disclosure document or some other such mistake. So that is essentially what API brings to the table. So now I will get back to the presentation. So these were, as soon as it shows up, these are all the endpoints I have used as a part of this demo. As a part of this demo, and I already talked about how you can automate this. So in the end, I just wanted to reiterate that with DocuSign Rooms, you can bring efficiencies in your current blending process, and APIs give you tools to automate them and make it even faster. This is your one-stop which has enhanced collaboration, quick feedback, and all those good things. It is less error prone, and then you can also integrate your third-party customers like loan origination systems and banking portals. The stupid pop-up showed up. So some of the APIs I have leveraged during this demo are already available in V2, and others will be available sometime later this year. We are going to be in Developer Center in fall 2019, and we are investing a lot into our APIs to ensure that our customers can control the experience they give to their consumers and make their lives as simple as possible. We are committed to your success.